What's up, team? I'm former United States Army Ranger Joshua Thompson, and in this video I'll be going over exactly what I did in AIT to train out for RASP, to include the exercise volume for my workouts, nutrition, and my schedule pattern so I could fully maximize my PT potential before I went to RASP. For those of you guys who don't know, when you get to Fort Moore, formerly known as Fort Benning, they changed the name. When you get to Fort Moore with your packet, you don't immediately go to RASP. You will first get assigned into what is called pre-RASP. Now, pre-RASP is somewhere you don't want to actually be in for a long time. The reason for this is because pre-RASP is a constant smoke show and you don't know exactly how long you're going to be in for pre-RASP. And so this is the reason why a lot of people quit. They get stuck in pre-RASP for too long and they don't know how long they're going to be stuck in there for, and so they end up quitting. The way that you get out of pre-RASP and into RASP is that you have to class up through a PT test. Now this PT test, at least when I was going through, was conducted every 3 weeks, excluding certain months. I think it was December and July, because those are the hottest and coldest months of the year, and so the cadre will take a break during those 2 months. And the test that you guys will be taking is a normal APFT, unless of course it's changed to the ACFT, then you guys will be taking that. But from what I know, it's still the APFT. Now here's the main thing. The people who score the highest on this test are then slotted in for the next RASP class. It is not the people who have been waiting there the longest. So if you guys thought it was like a queue where you show up at Fort Benning, Fort Moore, and you can just show up and your queue time to go into RASP is whenever they process your information, that is not the case. It is the people who score the highest on the PT test. So you guys can see why it's so important to not only meet the standard, but exceed the standard. If you look at using myself for an example, I quite literally showed up to I quite literally showed up to pre-RASP, and I was only one out of 15 dudes out of a pool of 700 plus people in pre-RASP at the time who maxed out the PT test. And the very next week, I was moving my bags over to the RASP building. This earning my spot into RASP over people who may have been waiting there for months. And this is all because I exceeded the standard. So if you guys don't understand the reason why I keep telling you get 15, 20 reps over the RFT maximum, good luck, brother, save your soul. But anyways, when it comes to the training that I did in particular, I always did 2 workouts a day. I did 1 workout in the morning where I did RASP PT conducted by the 75th Ranger Liaison that was there at Huachuca when I was in AIT. And then I would always do 1 workout in the evening where I would do a lot of volume in my lifting mixed in with calisthenics. And then on the weekends when we had no PT, I still woke up relatively early and I would conduct my sprints and my long runs as far as running concern on the weekends, because usually AIT PT doesn't cover longer distances like that, which you need to do in order to prepare for RASP properly. But I would also continue to do lifts as well. When it came to my lifting, I would consist of 2 to 3 compound exercises such as squats, deadlifts, bench press, whatever day it was, and then I would move on to 2 or 3 isolated workouts, and I would superset those isolated movements with calisthenics. So for example, if I'm doing cable flies, I would superset that with diamond push-ups. And then at the end of each lifting session, I would do 1 calisthenics or PT improver exercise so I can improve on an area that I wanted to improve on. So usually at the end of a chest day, I would do a push-up finisher, usually like a 2-minute push-up drill test, and I would do like 3 of those. Or I would do a core finisher that would heavily focus on my hip flexors for sit-ups, but you guys don't have sit-ups, so focus on stuff that's going to strengthen your plank. So doing more planks or exercises like that is a good finisher. In total for that day specifically, I would have 4 to 6 exercises, 2 to 3 of them being compound movements, and then 2 or 3 of them being isolated movements. And the reason why I say 4 to 6, 2 to 3 is because you want to start off with lower volume and work your way up. That way your body can adjust and get used to that. When it came to my workout splits, I started off with a 6-day workout split where I would start Monday with chest and arms, Tuesday with legs, and then Wednesday with shoulders and back. And then you would repeat this 2 times all the way up until Saturday, where you take Sunday off and then recover and then do it all over again. However, I do recommend that you listen to your body at first sometimes it's tough for people to go out the gate with that much volume. And so taking a day off at your discretion is completely okay. It's normal when you're first starting out. You're gonna get there and build up to where you can actually get and complete the full workout split. Eventually, me being the motivated Ranger wannabe at the time when I was in AIT, I ended up skipping a lot of the rest days on Sunday, where I'd end up making it a 3-day split. And what I mean by that is I would do the same chest, legs, back day, but I wouldn't take the Sunday off. I would just continue that 3-day cycle because I wanted to train as much as possible in order to maximize the amount of PT results that I would get. However, I did take a couple days off a month. I would say around 2 to 3 days a month because my body was just overstimulated. I needed the rest. It's very important that you guys listen to your body and not just completely torch your body and overtrain, because you are hurting it in the long run versus you feel exhausted. But at the same time, you guys should understand that a lot of you aren't training enough, and bumping up that volume or eventually working up to a better volume is better for your body in the long run when it comes to prepping yourself for these schools, Ranger School, RASP, whatever. It's really important that you build up to that volume. And then eventually around, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks before, I was actually in quarantine at the time, because when I actually moved over to Fort Benning, it was called Fort Benning at the time, Fort Moore, I was quarantined for 2 weeks because I went during COVID. And during that time, I used to de-escalate my workouts. I still worked out. I was stuck in a room working out with 2 people. I was de-escalating so I'd be prepared for the PT test. But the point is, make sure you guys are de-escalating the volume once you're approaching that PT date, so that way your body is more primed and ready and rested so you can perform at your max. So when it came to nutrition and scheduling, I ran a no compromise policy. And what I mean by that is anything that's not congruent into achieving my goal and becoming a Ranger, I just cast out. When I was in AIT, all I basically did was train all the time. I didn't really hang out with friends. I didn't really have that much downtime for myself. It was just, I was gonna train, I was gonna make it, and nothing else. So if there's anything in your life that's distracting you at the moment, you need to cut that out. Let's say it's a video game, you're staying up at night, it's cutting in your sleep, you need to cut that out. Now, objects and distractions on your phone are one thing, but let's say it's a person or a group of people who are distracting you. Well, all you need to do is basically tell these people you're training for this certain goal you have in mind. And if you're in AIT, it's really easy to just stay focused because you're not really going to meet these people ever again in your career. Because I'm going to tell you guys right now, if this person isn't helping you reach your goals, they're not really a true friend in my opinion. But at the end of the day, friends come and go in the military all the time. So let's use that time wisely and train up. And your real friends who are going to actually lift up, they're waiting for you in Redmond already. If you guys aren't familiar with the dining facility or the DFAC, nutrition is super easy for you guys. Super easy. The food there is labeled green, yellow, red, and obviously the food is based on health levels. Some of that stuff is coded wacky and weird, but generally you can follow that and be super healthy. All you have to do is put green and yellow stuff on your plate. That's all you have to do. Stay away from the red. That means no Taco Tuesday. That means no Thyroid Thursday. If you guys want consistent results, you have to be consistent in every aspect. That means you have to be consistent in your workouts, your food, your nutrition, and your sleep. All those things have to line up. Like if you guys are gamers, you're mid-maxing your own potential for the PT test. That's all it is. And finally, I'm gonna go over exactly what my schedule was when I was in AIT. So first off, straight off the bat, you wake up at 4:30 in the morning, you go do PT. I did RASP PT. They offered RASP PT because there was a 75th Ranger liaison there at the base. So I did RASP PT. And immediately I went to the chow hall. Right after PT, I went straight to the chow hall. It didn't matter how long the line is. Don't skip breakfast. I didn't skip breakfast because breakfast is super important. And I personally know how crazy the lines get. It gets crazy. I promise you're not gonna miss class. Sometimes you have to be a little, hustle your bustle, but you're gonna make it. Then of course you have class, I had class from 0800 to 1600 if I remember correctly. And of course you have lunch in the middle of that class session. And I always made sure that I was eating properly. I usually had some spinach and either tuna, or if there was like actual chicken, I put chicken on the spinach. And then immediately as soon as class ends, I went straight to the gym. There's no time wasted because you can't waste any time with this schedule. I know how tight the windows are. There's formations that you gotta go to at night. In order to make those formations in order to make sure everything's within the time window. You can't waste time. You can't just sit there on your phone for 30 minutes or whatever. So I went to the gym. I went for a run in an hour and a half. If I had time after my workout, I could just go straight to the chow hall and eat dinner. But you know, sometimes the day's longer on the school end and you can't control that. And if it was longer, I would have to then split up my workout, where I would work out, you know, maybe for 45 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes on the front end. I would go get dinner, and then I would work out on the back end. They had an actual gym on the bottom floor that you could go to, and I went to that. So I could finish my workout there, or you could just do calisthenics to finish it off. Make sure you guys are still on time when it comes to formations. And then by then, you know, the day is basically over. All right. By the time I finish my workouts, or by the time I finished dinner, a lot of the times it was just going straight into total line. There wasn't really any downtime. And then when I was done with total line, I would go either take a shower and do all my toiletries, or if I already did that, I would just go straight to bed. I know it's tempting to stay up on your phone a lot, but I was trying to maximize all my potential, and I knew sleep was the best way to do that. And so I was trying to get ahead any way I could. They gave us personally around, I want to say 6 to 8 hours of sleep, depending on the day. I'm using all of that time to sleep because that's where you're building the most muscle. That's where you're building the most in general. Now let me be real with you guys for a second. Hopefully you guys take this as motivation, because I'm not trying to put anyone down. I'm not trying to make you feel bad about yourself by saying the following. I'm just trying to give you guys the tools that you need that's necessary in order to succeed. Because at the end of the day, I want to see you guys graduate. I love people sending me their pictures of them graduating with their tan berets. It's awesome. If you're watching this video and you just skip breakfast, or you skip PT in the morning, someone just took your spot. Someone just took your spot in RASP. If you just got off class from AIT and you're not going to the gym, you're not going to lift, you're not doing anything to help that specific area that you need to improve on for RASP, someone just took your spot. If you're at the DFAC right now and you're chowing down on like 3 tacos, if souping it up with all the sour cream and crazy sauces, someone just took your spot. If you guys are watching this video in AIT and it's past 20:30 and you're in bed and you're just on your phone, someone just took your spot. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to make you guys feel bad. I'm not. There's nothing wrong with living the life the way that you want to. Just know that the stuff that you're not doing, someone else is doing. They're taking your spot, and you're there stuck in pre-RASP for another month. If you want to guarantee your spot, you have to be like a machine. You have to be consistent every day, maybe with the lack of maybe 3 days a month. That's how I trained, and I was in pre-RASP for a week, minus quarantine. I don't want this happening, you guys, so take this knowledge with what you will. Hopefully this video was super informative about how I was training to maximize my PT potential. Prep is very important when it comes to these tests, especially the physical tests. It's particularly important for people who are hard stuck in pre-RASP, because the best way to guarantee you get out of that is to maximize your PT test. But if you guys like this video, I appreciate if you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Leave a comment in the section if you thought I'd missed anything that you would do personally. Also, if you guys are interested, I make personalized workouts and nutrition programs for those heading to schools like RASP, Ranger School, Post Ranger School, Aerosol, etc. Just send me a message on my Instagram and I can get that going for you guys. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I see you guys in the next one.